Bring tissues for this story, people. It's not going to be a fun one. A few weeks ago, I could have done that a bit more convincingly. Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here, and welcome to my review of Doctor Who Series 1, Episode 8, Father's Day. Named so because this story centres on Rose's father, Pete Tyler, and her travelling back in time, and, well, she to start with, she wants to see him before he dies, so the Doctor agrees. Then they travel to his death day so Rose can be with him when he dies. She chickens out, understandably, the first time, but then on the second time, they're waiting. And then Rose decides to save Pete and changes history, meaning that these creatures called the Reapers appear and gobble people up, taking them out of time. Not exactly sure why they do that, but they do until the fixed point in time is fixed back, more or less. But the story is basically, what if Rose Tyler saved her father from being run over by that car, and these creatures came to try and sterilise the wound. And the story sees the bonding between Pete and Rose as they come to understand. And the character he's actually quite a nice guy. He might be a useless person, but he seems to be a really nice and pretty nice... He seems to be a nice guy, and he honestly wants to be a loving and caring husband and wife. He's just kind of a bit of a failure. Although Jackie does hide that when talking about him after his death. She probably talks about him in a nice way because she misses him. And you can also understand why Jackie's a bit overprotective of Rose in episodes 1, 4 and 5 because of what happened here. She doesn't want to lose her the same way she lost her husband. So this is a really good character study on the Tyler family. This is possibly also the best story to painting Rose Tyler as an actual good person, despite wanting to save her father. But, you know, anyone in her shoes would probably have done the same for a parent or a friend or someone they knew or cared for. So honestly, it makes a lot of sense. The Doctor, of course, is not happy due to the fact that time has changed. Although I think he could have had a couple of moments where he could have hidden this annoyance, maybe being a little, that's cool, when talking to Pete, and then when talking to Rose, he's a bit more serious. But anyway, Chris Eccleston continues to be amazing. Christopher Eccleston's just amazing, and the way he's trying to save everybody in the middle of the story is top notch. Of course, he actually sort of dies in the towards the end of Act 2, start of Act 3, when the Reapers eat him, when he's protecting everyone else. But it does sort of encourage Pete, who's worked out by this point that he should have died and time's been changed. He realises what he's got to do and goes off to save it. Not only is it really sad on the emotional level that it's Rose's dad, but like I said, he's a likeable guy. He's nice. He's trying to do what's best, despite his failures. It's the story just makes us feel. The story makes us feel sad for a nice character dying, not just because it's Rose's dad, but because he's really nice. And I think Jackie also gets knocked down a few pegs as well in some places, and this will be represented a bit in her attitude towards Pete after his death, when remembering him. Oh god, I actually kind of started feeling a bit tear-jerky towards the end of that story. This is such a hard story, and how Rose must have felt. Wow. Paul Cornell does a spectacular job on that angle. The only really thing that doesn't really quite work, the whole emotional story stuff, that works in terms of developing the characters and stuff. But it's the Reapers, I'm not quite sure what the Reapers were doing. I mean, it makes sense for them to appear, but why is this the only appearance of them? The Doctor and our other characters have changed history so many times, and this won't be the last time post-Time War we'll have that. The Reapers have not appeared yet, so it's strange. I mean, they're pretty good monsters. They look like giant bats with things in their stomachs. And what do they do? Do they take people out of time? And then when they're gone, people are restored? It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. The Reapers are a pretty cool monster, though, and it would have been interesting to see them back again for with more of this changing time ideas, but not to be the case. But I still think they're good. It's just don't quite understand why this is the only appearance of them, and I mean they're the weakest element of the story, but still pretty good, and provides a level of threat in between the changing the time. On the whole, Father's Day is a really emotional and really well written and executed story, directed by Joe Ahern. Yeah, Joe Ahern, who directed Dalek, and I think he's probably the best director of Series 1. He's also going to direct the series finale. Did he do Boomtown as well? He might have directed Boomtown. Did he direct The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances as well? I'm not sure. He's definitely directed Dalek, and he's definitely directed the last 2 episodes as well, and he's probably the best director of Series 1. It's a shame he never came back after Series 1. I know Christopher Eccleston has said he would, at one point, he said he would return to Doctor Who, maybe for the 100th anniversary, if Joe Ahern was directing. So Ahern does a fantastic job in the direction of the story, and Paul Cornell, who wrote Scream of the Shalka, which I reviewed before doing Series 1 reviews, he does a fantastic job here. So yeah, great stuff, really great stuff, and I think they managed to capture the emotional story really well as also what would happen if you changed time. Woo. So I'm going to give Father's Day a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I just think it's a brilliantly crafted story, and I think the actors also do a great job. Sean Dingwell in particular as Pete Tyler is brilliant, and I think this is Billie Piper's best performance of the series so far as Rose, and probably also Camille Coduri's best performance as Jackie in the series so far, and Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor continues to be outstanding. No, fantastic. Well, outstanding is actually better, but fantastic's his catchphrase. So Christopher Eccleston continues to be outstanding, fantastic as the Doctor. Anyway, next time we're going back to 1941 for a traditional horror story set during the Second World War. Woo! Well, I say horror, it's a scary story. It's supposed to be a scary story. With The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Nicholas Payne Retro YouTube channel. And so with exploring these, and it also probably paints Rose as a pretty good. It also has I mean, she does get a bit rude to the Doctor about it, but she probably thinks he's a bit. But she's a bit rude to the Doctor about it, but he is kind of a bit over the. I'll screw that. I'll do it. But the Doctor is great in this one. Anyway, but despite what's that? Never mind. Of course, he's the and yeah, I don't know. It's So definitely does a lot of great stuff. And Paul Cornell, who Paul Cornell, who wrote Scream the Schalke, anyway. So that's it from. And I think this is Billie Piper's best performance to date. And I think this is So Chris Eccleston continues to be fantastic at